So some stocks of the hour. I want to talk about Palantir, Tesla, Netflix, and Baba. Palantir, the big one I got to start with first.
Yeah.
You don't have a position in it. It's down almost 70% from all-time highs. Definitely was overvalued at $45. Agree with you. Should not have been a $100 billion company at that moment, 3 months after going public. But things have gotten back to earth, and they're growing revenues 41% year over year. I think it's very hard to find companies that are growing at even 25% year over year. Is there a world in which you start to get friendlier to buy Palantir one day? And what's the hesitation from buying it?
Yeah. So I know I'm in hostile territory here as a non-Palantir shareholder. So my thoughts on it are, obviously that was an easy call like last year. I mean, in hindsight, it's easy, but in reality, it wasn't just Palantir that fell. Almost every speculative stock, and I don't mean speculative in a negative way. I just mean high flying, high multiple stock came down. When I look at Palantir, I think, let me just outline a couple thoughts on it. So the company, I like the industry that it's in. I like the leadership of it, Peter Thiel. I like the fact that it's kind of a monopoly. Obviously, I like software. I think that code is like the future. A lot of the story fund is based on that. The valuation has come down to much more attractive levels. I think it's at like a 15 price to sales right now or something around there. Yeah. It was at a 40. And my basic message was, back then, a year ago, I came out with a video of why I'm not buying Palantir. And the basic message was when something's trading at a 40 price to sales, you just don't have like the valuation safety. Like you don't have that in the stock. So it's got to like crush it and everything has to go perfectly. And even then you don't have a ton of upside support. So that's the same case with a lot of them though. Like I've kind of exited out of all of those. Once I saw, these, like a couple of them, the dominoes tip over, I'm like, the market is not rewarding this risk anymore. So I exited out a lot of those, like DoorDash, Snowflake, CrowdStrike, Atlassian, and those were good companies to exit out of in 2021. So, right. But anyways, with Palantir, I think my big reservation, the reason that I haven't bought into it is not really concerned about valuation. In fact, I think the company is okay valuation right now. It's just when I look at the investments that I've stumbled on, it's been ones where I feel like I'm investing in more of an abstraction. So I'm investing in something where I'm investing in a concept or an idea rather than something that like I for sure know exactly the ins and outs of everything. So if you look at the investments that I've done well on, and this is my personal like portfolio kind of history, I've done really well on Apple. That's a company that I bought when people are saying it was overpriced at a 20 PE ratio. Now it's up to like almost a 30, right? So I got multiple expansion and the earnings have been great, but it's like I have an iPhone. I use all their products. I know exactly how all of it works. Costco is another one that's been really well. Like it's done really well as an investment, but I know like so many people that use it and they're just emphatic about the value proposition that company provides. Other companies, that have done well in the past, I try to think about. Another one that did well is Atlassian. That's one that I purchased and went up. And it's just like project management software. But I've been leaning more towards companies that I feel like I just have to know exactly on a base level what I'm investing in, not an abstracted layer of third-party explanations, third-party descriptions, kind of a layer of a third-party analysis on it. Like I have to know for myself what it is.
Is that for your personal investment conviction so you can sleep well at night? Or do you think, just to be open-minded for everybody, there is a massive arbitrage opportunity if, yes, you can't see the software, but if you've done like the deep digging, the software is doing well, but obviously you can't touch it because it's not. Like, do you think personally from an investment mindset perspective, look, I don't get it. Maybe there is an arbitrage opportunity, but if I don't get it, I can't sleep at night and hold if the stock is bad in 2 earnings.
Yeah, so I think so. Obviously where you get like outperformance a lot in many cases is when you do a deeper dive and you understand something that the rest of the market isn't willing to understand.
Right.
And I think that could certainly be the case. I just have to be 100% confident myself because I realize when I make an investment into something, like if I go public and I go really heavily into that company, I know a lot of people will follow suit, right? Because if you get a channel that has a lot of views, like you do have influence over people's decisions. So I just have to have something that I'm very certain of, at least the company's value proposition. They're competitive angle, like what the competitors are, like how the company's doing, not just on a quarterly basis, but kind of like how things are going. Like I can go and assess, I can use Apple's latest products and say, even if the quarterly revenue is okay or whatever, I can say this product is, like they're not iterating the same. They're not doing the same things. I can assess it with my own hands, right?
Right.
The same thing if I'm investing in, like Starbucks or Domino's or any of these companies. I look at I look at a lot of investors. You have Warren Buffett saying, your circle of competence, basically saying, don't venture out into things where you have less of an understanding of it. You have Peter Lynch saying, buy what you know, right? Buy what you know. You have an edge on something. If you really know it, buy it. Bill Ackman emphasizes simple, predictable. That's his investment thesis. Like he invests in companies like Chipotle, where they have a box, they serve burritos, and they open up more of these boxes by the thousands every year. So I just see a common theme of all of them buying simple, predictable, well-known businesses that can replicate a business strategy really easily. When I look at Palantir, I'm not saying they can't do that. I'm just not 100% confident myself. And if I'm not 100% confident, I will still be willing to invest in it, but it will be a much smaller position, right? I will kind of be in like the speculative basket. Like I'll have it as a smaller holding. I'm never going to put like 30% of my portfolio in it like I will with Amazon or something. So it's just that layer of abstraction. With Palantir, I feel like I've never used the product.
Right.
I've never even talked to anybody personally that works at a company that has used a product and it's like, this is a game changer, right?
And it's also different from Atlassian because that's project management software. I don't know. Maybe you used it, maybe you didn't, but
it's the industry standard.
Right. And you know what project management software is, but you might not know what B2B data analytics, AI, machine learning at the edge is. Like it's just.
Yeah, no, Atlassian, you can ask people working at big tech companies and they'll say that, Jared, these type of things are like the industry standard across the board. That's why they grow substantially without doing advertisement. Right. They have minimal marketing costs. So it's a fantastic company. The valuation went too high. So I sold and locked in some gains, but that's an example of one that I'm very confident in the industry that product isn't going to get upended anytime real soon.
Right.
And, so I guess with Palantir, it's kind of for me, it's in the basket, like Monish Barai talks about the too difficult. Like it's just kind of in that phase of too difficult for me. In terms of being confident in it. I just feel like it's too difficult.